What up, YouTube? It's your boy, Josh. I'm here to start... Cut. What are you doing? What are you doing? I was just trying to keep it fresh, you know? No, please, just do it normal. Stick to the script. Can I get a second opinion on that?
Yeah, I don't really like that one, Josh. Just do normal.
Please, just do it normal. Fine, I'll do it normal. Okay, going again in 3, 2... Today's project is going to be to start actually fixing this mess. The wood here is pretty much rotting and decayed, so I'm going to have to measure out this area. Probably going to come back over to around here or so, make it that corner, and I'll have to kind of split the flooring. It won't look completely even, but it'll be better than what it is currently. Looking at it kind of closely, it looks like it's just a veneer. I'm going to be taking a slightly different approach with it. I have teak veneer and marine grade plywood, and I'm going to be kind of cutting out the shape of this corner in marine grade plywood and then covering it with the veneer. I'll probably have to keep the hatch shape at least, but I might try to fix this, keep it as is. Yeah. So, first things first is to take measurements. So I want to take some time to plan out what I'm going to do. Okay, that is weird, but basically I'm trying to get this rhombus shape that is about 2 feet tall and about 3 feet wide at the bottom. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to make a rectangle of wood. I have 3 layers of the marine grade plywood that I'm going to use for this, and then I have a 4 foot by 2 foot long strip of the veneer. The grain on the veneer, however, is going a long way, so I need to actually cut it in a way that'll go this way instead. So because it is 4 feet long, I can cut it in half, and then I'll end up with essentially the same size but going the other way, so that might work. And then I have these 1/4 inch strips I need to put every 2 and so many inches. That space was, I believe, 2 3/8 of an inch, and to get 3 feet of that plus 1/4 inch, let's say, we can do some quick math here. So 2 5/8 inches for the strip, that would be the teak plus hardwood times alpha, let's call it alpha, equals about 36 inches. So we need to find out how many of these little strips we're going to have to cut out to get to 36 inches across 13.7 of these strips. So if I make it 14 strips, then we're good. And now let's do another quick calculation here. If that's 24 inches wide, how many can I get per deal? So I can get 9 essentially out of this. That will be the correct width, and would need a few more to get to the full 14 or so that I need. So the good news is that I have enough material to do this in one shot. I totally did not plan this out before I bought the material, so let's get started. I've got marine grade plywood. I bought it at a wonderful lumber company in town, as well as this beautiful teak veneer. This teak veneer is not colored, obviously, so I need to also do an experiment with it to make sure that it'll come out the right color. So since I have so much extra for this project, I'm going to make a little kind of sample size and check to see how it looks when it's finished, and if it looks good, then we'll continue on. If not, then we'll stop and pause and take a time out for safety before I waste any more money on this, because marine grade wood is not cheap. Now you might be wondering, Josh, didn't you use non-marine grade wood in all of your other projects? What gives? And you'd be right to question me for that. The reason I'm using it now is because the cabin sole is actually going to be exposed to a lot more moisture than anything else. Any humidity that gets trapped underneath there, I'm not going to have a way of really getting out. So I want to make sure that this stuff is going to last, at least for the next 10 years, maybe 20 if I can get lucky. But yeah, let's give it a shot. For testing purposes, what I'm planning on doing is cutting out this corner of the marine grade plywood. I'll then cut out a similar shaped corner from the teak veneer, as well as a small piece of the hardwood. And what I plan on doing is basically simulating what the final product will be in that tiny little corner, and basically that should tell me everything I need to know about whether or not this is actually going to work. While this piece of wood was drying, I went out and bought some captain's varnish. This will be kind of what we use to color it, as well as for other projects. And then I also got a bag of God's chicken for myself to munch on, because there's still a lot of gluing left and I'm going to have to wait for a bit. But fun fact about this captain's varnish is that the quart size that I got is only $10 more than the pint. So for what is it, about 15%, no, $15 more, which is about, 20, I don't know, 30% more money. You can get 100% more varnish, which I think is neat. So God bless America, and let's get to work. So now that the hardwood is dry, I'm going to use my block planer to get it a little bit thinner. There it is. So this guy is going to basically take it down a little bit. I don't want it completely flat and flush. I just want to get it thinner than it is right now. And we'll sand it down to the final thickness once the veneer is actually in place. But for now, this will help us kind of speed that process up. Alright, well you can see that it still has a little bit of a thickness to it, but that is okay because when we put the veneer on, it'll make it nice and uniform, but not exactly uniform. The goal of this was more to get it closer, but not exactly closer. I don't want to have to come back with the planer in the future, so that is kind of what we're going for next. Sometimes you have to get creative with what you use to weigh things down. Okay, well now I've got the veneer on the piece well enough for the next step. You can see there's a little bit of a gap between the hardwood and the teak. That is because I'm lazy and did not really care about that. On this run, on the actual deal, I'm going to have to definitely make sure that those are touching and there's no gaps. But for now, I'm going to get it nice and smooth with the sandpaper, and then I'll apply a light coat of varnish. You might notice today I'm doing something I don't normally do, which is wear gloves while I'm working with paints and stuff. That is because varnish really sucks to try to get off. But for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just apply a light coat. I'm not even going to use a brush for this. I'm just going to spoon some on, like that. Then I'm going to take my flat spatula that I picked up. I'm going to brush it on, nice and light. I'm only going to do half of it too. I want to kind of see it before and after. And once this is kind of on, I'll let it dry overnight. While that's drying, it's also worth noting that it'll probably take about 4 or 5 coats for it to actually look the way that it should. But I can already tell based on that first little coat that I think we've got something that we can work with here. So we'll see you tomorrow. So now that the varnished piece has dried off, I'm actually going to take a little bit of the sandpaper here. I'm using a P400 grit, and I'm going to lightly smooth the surface. This helps with the kind of final finish, gives you a nice layer adhesion and all that. Just trying to rough it up a bit. Okay. Now we are ready to put on the second layer of varnish. So for this, I'm going to get my gloves back on. So on my second layer, I'm going to kind of leave some of the first layer exposed. I want kind of a comparison between the layers here. So with that, let's spread it nice and thin. I've got 2 layers on. We'll let that dry overnight and come back to it tomorrow. In the meantime, I have some other items that I can work on this project to make sure that we're not going to fall behind waiting on varnish to cure and all that. So I'm just going to leave this for now and come back to it later. So this marine grade plywood is approximately 2 feet by 4 feet. Right now, my plan is to cut 2 of these sheets in half. Kind of put the pieces so that the grain is alternating direction, and then glue all 4 of them together using that wonderful wood glue. And the goal of that is to make one sheet that is approximately 3/4 of an inch thick, and that will kind of form the backboard for everything that I'm about to do with the teak, veneer, and varnish. So hopefully that'll turn out great. So you'll notice that the boards aren't exactly even though I just cut them in half. That doesn't really matter because really all I need is a 3-foot section of this. It doesn't have to be perfect. And yeah. I went to the store and bought a bunch more spring clamps, as many as I had, and also a new bottle of glue because I used up all mine on that layer. I'm going to leave it as it is for now and come back after dinner and put the next layer on, and hopefully the warping is not as severe after it has 3 layers together. Try to organize it so that it kind of offsets itself, but that makes it harder to clamp together while the glue is drying. So yeah, well, I am full of tacos and ready to keep working. My goal is to get the other 2 short pieces onto the other side of this board before I lose all the light, and then we'll see how that goes, and maybe we can finish it up tonight and have it kind of drying and curing overnight. But if not, oh well, I'll work on it tomorrow. That second layer of varnish is not quite the color I want it to be. I was talking to one of the guys at the bar, and he mentioned that staining it is actually probably the more appropriate direction to take it, so I'm going to try that on one of the bare sections over here and see what we get. Today I'm over at one of my friend's houses. She raises chickens in the backyard, but she also has a wood shop that she offered to let me use, so I am going to try that out. Do you want to say hi to the camera?
Hi, camera.
Cool. That's Laura. She's painting. So some of the tools that we have here, the table saw and router and bandsaw, those are really going to be helpful for this project, and I'm excited to get started. So I've decided that this side is going to be the bottom of the marine plywood, which means that I'm going to attach this final piece onto it, and after it is clamped and ready to go, I'm going to leave it here drying for the next few weeks, and it'll probably just sit on the floor somewhere where it's out of the way, and that will help kind of with the warping issue, I believe. And it'll be like that for about 2 weeks, and it is hot and humid here, kind of like a steam box, which I expect will help kind of relax the wood and flatten it out. So while that is drying, I've got all the heaviest things that I could find stacked up on top of the board. It is upside down right now, I guess downside up, basically the right way. I'll leave it like that until I leave tonight, and then just kind of keep it flat for a while. So while I'm waiting for the glue to dry, I've got the stain out, and I'm going to try out a couple different colors on this sample. Another good reason to have left those corners exposed. So I've decided that on this half I'm going to put the pre-stain conditioner, and the other half I'm not. And then I'm going to put the 3 colors I have in little kind of sections to see what happens. So let's go ahead and put that conditioner on. Brush that off. Okay. With the conditioner on, I'm now going to apply just a few little drops of stain to each of these. And let's see what that looks like. Note that I should be wearing gloves, and I am a fool for not. Do not do as I do. Do as I say. Gonna let those sit and soak for a little bit, and then I'll wipe the excess as I normally do. See how it looks. Okay, I'm going to wipe off the excess and see what kind of color we got. Very nice. So, first impressions are I like the red mahogany and the dark walnut equally. But I have absolutely no idea which one is actually more right, so I'm going to have to wait until I get home to the boat to really get a better comparison for that. But that's good. That means that the teak takes the stain very well. Hopefully I can do this on a larger scale now.